I have a question for you.
What?
The bookshelf behind us looks a little different.
Does it?
I remember there being Wally. Was I wrong?
I think you're right. Looks a little different.
I can't tell.
Looks into the camera instead of behind him. In case you haven't noticed, we are in a new space.
What?
I know, this is a whole new vlog space for us. So did we like clean out a room and like redecorate or something?
I think so. Wait, we gotta do the thing.
What?
The thing.
What thing?
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Welcome back. Or welcome here. I'm Sean.
And I'm wondering if you broke their eardrums with that. I'm Jen.
Morning.
Hi.
That's Jen. I'm Sean.
Sup.
Sup. No, so we're super excited. We apparently cleaned out one of the corners in our house, and we now have a wall. Did you guys know there's a wall behind us? There is.
Did we?
Did we?
Is that what we did?
That seems like way too much work.
Seems like way too much work. You know what's less work?
What?
Buying a new house.
Oh.
Let's just do that.
Oh, yeah.
So this is our vlog where we let you know we bought a house.
Wow.
It's been like, what, 7 months more? I mean, it's been a long process actually. But from the point of like actually being ready to buy a house to purchasing a house, I'd say, hang on, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, 8 months.
Did you carry the one?
Yes.
Okay.
So 8 months it took to find a house, get our finances approved a couple of times, and buy the house. And now we're currently moving into it. So while this space looks super, super nice, you don't see the absolute mess that is on the other side of this room. Yeah, your office looks great, by the way.
Thanks. You did great organizing it.
It still has boxes all over it. Anyway, so we wanted to talk to you guys about the house buying process and how it's going with the move and like everything. So we have some funny stories for you. And if you're looking to buy a house, this is the vlog for you because I'm going to tell you some things don't do. I did them. Don't do them. Okay? So where to start? When we knew we were ready. When did we know we were ready to buy a house? When I had 2 full-time jobs. I feel like that was the moment. No, for a little while, I did actually have a full-time and a part-time along with my other part-time jobs. I had a full-time job and a like 20-hour-a-week part-time job that I was able to do somehow without sleeping. And I was taking that part-time money and saving it because I was like, I'm saving to get a house. I have to have a down payment. So I spent like a long time saving it. Halfway through that part-time job, they offered it to me full-time. And they said that I could keep both full-time as long as I, got the work done until I was able to leave my other job. So I had 2 full-time jobs for
Couple months.
About 6 months.
Yeah.
So I put all that income away so that we could have a down payment and closing costs and everything that we needed to buy a house. Now, we also had to think about, like, we need moving money. It costs money to move. It costs a lot of money to move, like moving trucks and setting up new services and, buying new furniture because your dining table's been with you for 15 years and it's literally on its last leg. So
it's trying its best.
It's trying so hard, but Bento's going to get on it one day and it's just...
It's going to be like the old cat tower that he had that was just slowly doing this.
We did get them a new cat tower. We haven't set it up yet, but that'll be a nice little gift for them.
They're going to panic. They'll be like, oh, it's ours.
Yeah.
But no, so the whole home buying thing it was something that for the longest time, most of my life, I was like, I'm never going to buy a house. I'm just going to live in an apartment. Why buy a house?
I said the same thing. I said the same thing. So when were you mentally like in the position that you wanted to buy a house?
Next week.
Seriously?
No, let's see. It's the end of October. I'd say probably, I would have to say the beginning of summer, I finally was like, I would like to own a house.
Really? It took you that long? For me, it was during the first part of COVID. I got really used to being at home. And we all maybe know, maybe we don't know, I've developed some fun little quirks like OCD and stuff. And I got really comfortable being in my house. And I started to appreciate the fact that I had a really, really nice house that was mine, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And I knew that if they wouldn't let us buy it, eventually I'd have to move out of it. And then I started seeing all the rent increases all over Florida, all over the US, all over the world probably. And I started seeing interest rates go up on home buying, and I started seeing house prices go crazy. And I was like, you know what? We need to get in on this like now so that I never have to move again. So that was my motivator. Your motivator was like having something that was yours. My motivator was I just don't want to move ever again. It's terrible. Don't do it. So that's where I was like in the COVID era, just like me going, you know, I really want my own space. That's my clean space, and it's my I never have to leave it space. So the house search process has been interesting. I'm sure if you've been on this channel a while, you've seen that we have another video where we talked about buying a house. We were this close to getting it. We had the offer approved and we had the inspections going. Everything was fine. And then it fell through. It was actually a really great house. Like there was really nothing wrong with it. It's just the roof needed to be replaced, and they financially made it difficult for us with that roof replacement. They basically said, well, we'll replace the roof, but then we're going to charge you $10,000 extra for the house to cover the cost of the roof. And we're like, we were priced out at your price. Okay. Like we're done.
Yeah. That we were at the max of what we could do.
So we had to drop that one, unfortunately. And we did get all of our stuff, all of our deposit back and stuff. So that was nice. But yeah, we put it off for a little bit.
And then we were like, you know what? Let's not worry about buying a house right now. We have the studio that we were
we just bought a studio. And so we're like, we're focused on the studio. That took up actually a sizable chunk of our down payment was buying the studio.
So we were like, no, let's not focus on a house right now. We're renting. We were comfortable. You know, our rent wasn't bad.
But we knew we wanted to move, not just because we wanted to move like into a house, but we kind of wanted to move in with each other. I know we've lived together, but we also had a roommate for a while. For anyone that doesn't know, Alex did not move with us. And it's not because we don't love Alex. We really do. I miss him so much all the time because he and I have lived together for over a decade.
Yeah.
We've been Dharma and Greg roommates for like ever, okay? But I really wanted to just have married life with you, just us. And
our own
it
space
was time.
And, you know.
It was time for him too.
He's in the process, you know. He's in the process of
You're so
getting himself a condo.
We hope that he closes on it soon.
Every day we text him. Heard anything yet?
We are more excited than he is, I think.
He's
it's
like,
so funny.
No, I should probably call them.
Yeah.
And we're like, can I call? Can I call for you? Like we're panicking.
I mean, hopefully he's gonna close by Friday or by Thursday so that we can celebrate at Conjuration. I'm so excited. So anyway, we wanted to move into a new era of us. So we knew that we wanted to move, but we knew we also wanted to do that closer to the end of the year so that we didn't have like, you know, a lease to break or double rent or anything. So we decided to try to time it right and start looking for houses again in the end of August. So we did. A realtor reached out to us that wasn't our original realtor, but was like a good friend of hers at the same company. And she reached out to us and was like, hey, so these houses are in your neighborhood. Are you interested? And I was like, yeah, I think it's time. We just got married. We just got over the Rona. And I was like, okay, yeah, it's time. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're like, let's go take a look.
And so we started looking at houses. Actually, I was still down with the Rona the first couple of houses he was looking at. What did you see in one of those houses that made the realtor laugh so hard?
First house that I go to meet this realtor, right? We're masked up. You know, I've tested several times, and she was at just like the last stages.
I was just waiting for the test to be negative, but
and like I was good. And I tested several days in a row without it and all that, and so I'm going there and I'm talking to the lady, and like I got Jen on the phone to show her the house and stuff, and the lady understood. She was really cool about it. And so I'm looking around. I go in. We're looking at it. It's cool. We go into like one of the like the second bathroom, and it's like this blue wall. And I was like, cool. And then there's a bunch of like picture frames. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, there's still a lot of stuff there that you know people still live there.
Yeah, sometimes houses are shown when people still live in them, and sometimes they're shown when people have already moved out.
So I'm going through and I look over, and there's this like picture that's very artsy. It's like a blue hue, and it's just boobs. And I go, And I walk out, and then I was like, am I just being me? Did I really see boobs? So I walked back, and I looked, I'm like, yep. So I go, and I go, hey, I guess something to tell you. She was like, yeah, never met this realtor before. I was like, I'm just letting you know in case you ever show this house to a family and they might have a child and you don't want them to go, why would you show me this with my kid who could see this? And she goes, nuh-uh. And she walks in there. She goes. She sends it to everybody in her office and goes, don't show this house to a family. And like, we need to get this pulled down. And it was just so funny because
he told me about it. He's like, those are boobs. And I'm like, those are.
Because I was just like, but yeah, it was just like, oh, okay. Like, I'm an artist. I'm a photographer. So when I see photos, I'm going to look. Mm-hmm. And it was not the pictures of your grandma or your parents and getting married right behind you. No.
No, it was boobs.
In the spare bathroom?
It's so weird.
But no. So, yeah, there was all kinds of weird things that we saw in houses.
Yeah, we saw some really, really nice houses, and then we saw some, average fixer-uppers and stuff. We were open to anything. We just really wanted to stay in this city that we're in because, we're in a town of a city because the studio that we just bought is in this town. So we wanted to stay really, really close to it, and we've lived here for...
You've lived here a lot longer
7
than
years.
I have. Yeah.
I've lived in this neighborhood for 7 years, and you've lived in this neighborhood for 5 years. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Also, we found Jen's Patronus at one of the houses.
What?
The guy who lived there was one of Jen's Patronuses.
Oh yeah,
the one with all the guitars.
Yeah, so we go see this house that's super well priced. It's $100,000 below what everything else is in the area. It was really, really small. It was 1,200 square feet for 3 bedrooms. It was tiny, and it was on a decent sized plot of land, I guess. But there's no HOA, so we don't have to mow it. It can just overgrow, and it's fine. Whatever. We go see it, and there's just vibes in that house that are just I could create in here. Mm-hmm. A creative lived in that house. I know that. You walk in, and it just smells like incense and sage. And there's guitars everywhere, and there's an organ,
an old
not
school,
an organ, not Halloween,
but
an old school that. It's a piano right here.
Yeah. But the big wood.
Yeah. Organ. And a beautiful fireplace, and then in one of the rooms it was a music studio, and I was you could tell he didn't spend the money on the house. He spent it on the instruments in the studio because he had the nicest setup. He had the most amazing equipment. He had a Korg, really, really nice MIDI keyboard processor, and he had a really expensive mic. So this guy was a musician.
He had 7 or 8 guitars that were still there.
Yeah.
And he also had rollerblades and yoga stuff and
just a super cool
he was
dude.
We were can we just hang out with this guy?
Yeah, but he's moving, so it sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a really, really cool house that we were in, and we were kind of interested in that house, but it sold in 10 minutes. It sold right after we saw it.
Yeah, and the house was up for a major battle on price, but
yeah.
It looked like he got his parents' house in the 80s or 90s and just never changed anything about it. That's what it
except
looked
the music equipment.
Yeah, except for the music equipment.
That.
But yeah, no, but there was just random things left and right, and it's just a lot of them were great, but a lot of them just didn't feel like us.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
And there were a lot of houses that we saw that I was just it's okay, but it doesn't feel like me. Some of them were deal breakers. I just didn't like something about it. Nothing that you can change. Also, our cats are still exploring this house, and they are all over the drum set and the closet over there right now. So my eyes keep darting. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. But yeah. And then on the same day, actually, that we saw that house, we saw this one. Mm-hmm. And we walked in, and immediately both of us are I kind of love this house. Mm-hmm. There's just something about this house.
Yeah, it felt right.
It feels good, Mm-hmm. The neighborhood's super small, and there were kids playing, and we love that. Except when I was trying to film today, it didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. Go stop that. I'll keep talking.
Hey.
All right, he stopped. Okay, I'm sorry. I need to explain what happened. So the door's open, and T'Challa hides behind the door, and then he puts his paw through the crack. Yeah, he puts his paw through the crack in the door. But if Bento attacks at all, and the door either opens or closes, T'Challa's going to get his arm hurt. Mm-hmm. So as a mom, I freak out when my son is about to be hurt. So sorry about that. Anyway, so we saw this house. It's a 3-2, and it's on a 0 lot. Like, there is no yard.
This room probably has as much grass outside.
This is a spare bedroom, which is actually my music studio and our filming space. Because it's one of the only carpeted rooms in the house, so it has to be like the music studio for me to like, record music or just write or play the drums and not bother people and film. Except my dance filming space is totally different. It's okay. We're gonna post a house tour. I promise we're gonna post a house tour. So yeah, we just fell in love with this house. It has everything we wanted and only a couple things we didn't. But none of the things it didn't have were deal breakers. It does have a couple of quirks, I won't lie. The master bathroom toilet room. Have you ever been in one of those public bathrooms where the door to get in there, like there's like, you try to close the door, but there's no way to do that unless you're standing on the toilet? It's kind of like that. It goes in the tiniest room, and you're just like at some point I was just like just stay out there. I'm gonna pee with the door open.
She's like, I gotta go pee. Okay, I just go out to the living room.
Because I mean, most of the time, a lot of people don't have a toilet having its own room, so it would be in there. You would have to leave anyway, but the bathroom doesn't have a door, which makes it slightly awkward.
It's one of the things that I've learned about Florida is apparently they don't believe in bathroom doors.
Master bathroom doors. If the toilet has its own room, the bathroom probably doesn't have a door.
It's so weird to me.
It's
like
really weird.
I think we found one or two houses that actually had a bathroom or
Yeah.
a door. We were like,
oh. I know. Another quirk. We were on a golf course, and I grew up on a golf course, so this is normal for me. But things that he wasn't used to, and I guess I was at the start of a hole on the golf course, not the end or the midway.
Like halfway.
We're like halfway on like I think it's the 10th hole.
I think we're around there. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Our house gets hit by golf balls.
If you have a horrible slice, you're gonna hit our house.
So our house totally gets hit by golf balls. Like, there are divots in the back of the house from when golfers have hit it. I was just chilling in my room. All of a sudden, like, bang! And I'm like, oh my God, what was that noise? Turns out we got hit by a golf ball. Golfers come a little bit later, the ones who had the terrible slice, and they, like, pointed at the house, kind of chuckled, and kept driving. And I'm like, wow, thank you for damaging private property and laughing about it. That's so great. We tried to talk to the clubhouse about it, and they were like, yeah, there's nothing you can do. Sorry. And I was like, what do you mean there's nothing I can do? They damaged private property.
He basically said we had to take it in our own hands.
So we will. And this is how we intend on fixing the situation. Also, we're collecting all the golf balls, and we're going to glue them to a poster board that says, you suck. At some point,
we're just
put
gonna
it in the
get a big
backyard.
piece of wood that says, imagine this.
So, yeah. So, we're going to get a golf net. That's one of the things that we're hoping to save up for. Just like a big golf net to protect the house and protect the babies and protect us, because there's something cool in the backyard we're going to tell you about. And then also, there's a camera in the front of the house. That's one of the other quirks. There's some cameras in the front of the house. We don't have access to like the footage or anything, do we? Or do we now?
I can watch it live, but I can't view the recorded footage yet.
Okay. So we're working on that. The person who lived here before had like a lot of surveillance issues, I guess. But so there's some cameras, and when you pass by them, they go, woohoo, camera recording. And you're like, thanks. I think I flipped off that camera a lot. Like, it makes me mad.
I make faces at it.
So there's 2 cameras right by the front door.
Pinto and
Pinto's just screaming. All right, they love to play in this house. They play all day.
They're wrestling.
Just like that, they're wrestling. Bento!
This is what he does.
He does. All night, all day.
Like, they'll do that,
funny.
or they'll like play hide and go seek, and they'll yell for each other. And then one will find the other one, and then the other one will go hide, and then that one will yell.
Yep, it's great. So anyway, I'm gonna lock you out. Okay, just deal with it. It's fine.
You guys want a cat?
No, I love him. So anyway, so we have these 2 cameras in the front, but there's 2 of them right by each other. And we turned one facing the garage so it stops yelling at us because it was really annoying. So I'm thinking we're going to get that camera and put it in the backyard, right by where the golfers drive, because there's only like a couple feet between the fence and where the golfers drive. And as they go, it'll go, woohoo, camera recording, so that if they just hit our house, they might get a little scared. So that's how we plan on handling it.
Or we're gonna get a speaker system that's just gonna.
We'll just heckle them. Like, man, you suck.
Wow, is that a piece of bread? Because it's a slice right there, bud.
So yeah, we're planning on taking it in stride and just having some fun with it. That's one of the quirks. One of the cool things about this house is that it has a fire pit in the back. This makes this guy super, super happy. There's also some other things in the backyard.
Yeah, so we were walking when we first got here and we saw the little trees and we're like, oh, cool, little trees. You know, like there's like 3 of them in the backyard. We're like, all right, what are they growing? One of them looked like a lime tree. We were like, cool, it's a lime tree.
It's not a lime tree. They're mandarin oranges, actually. We have a mandarin orange tree in the backyard, which is so freaking cool.
And that's just one of them.
Yeah,
the other
and there's
2?
2 trees that have
Pomegranates.
Thank you, Amy.
And there is a bush that's up next to the house and like this nice little planter that has jalapenos and red peppers.
How cool is that? Oh, it's so cool. I'm so happy and so excited for all of it. And there is something else quirky in the backyard, I won't lie. There's a fire
hydrant.
Fire hydrant, yeah. I couldn't remember the word hydrant for a second. I was like, it's not an extinguisher.
And like you're like, oh, like the little red ones?
No, it's a street fire hydrant.
It's
like
hooked
for
into the
street.
ground.
So there's a lot of interesting quirks about this house. When we do a house tour, we'll tell you about all of them. But we definitely wanted to tell you at least some of the things we loved about this house and some of the things that were like interesting. But overall, it's been wonderful. We love the neighborhood. We're very, very close to a dock that we're allowed to go on, and we see flying fish. Ah, it's so cool. I've never seen flying fish before. They go wee.
They're just constant. She was like,
What
is this?
And they were just pop, pop, pop. I was just like, why are they doing this?
She's like, are they okay?
It was so cool. So anyway, I want to get into, this video is going to be a little long, I'm sorry. I'm going to get into the house buying process and where I made the biggest mistake my realtor and my finance person has ever seen. Ever. So number 1 rule your realtor and your mortgage loaner will say is do not buy a car or open up any line of credit, because buying a car is opening up a line of credit. So that's all the same rule. Number 1 rule. Do not buy a car or open up any line of credit while you are trying to buy a house, because it will really, really mess up the house buying process. And we didn't do that. No. You remember at the beginning of the video when I said I had those 2 jobs? And that one of them was saying that I could keep both of them full-time until I had to quit the other one, or I can't work both of them full-time, especially at the start of the year. Yeah, so we sat down for the closing, and I was just laughing and telling the mortgage loan lady that, I committed like the cardinal sin of what you shouldn't do when you're buying a house. And she goes, well, did you buy a car? And then my realtor goes, no, it was worse. And she's like, how can it be worse than that? I was like, I quit my job. And she was like, are you kidding? Okay, so don't quit your job when you're trying to buy a house, okay? Because it totally messed up everything. I was like, what? I had 1 full-time job and then I traded it for another one. They go, honey, you had 2 full-time jobs and then you dropped one. I was like, oh.
Also, apparently, YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and that kind of stuff,
not usable.
Unless it was on the previous year's tax
it has
return.
To be on the tax return. So I wasn't like, but I'm making the same amount. I have this, and then I have all of my social media stuff that I've just started getting paid with. And they're like, yeah, no.
They're like,
doesn't work.
They're like, that's great, but we can't accept it because it wasn't on last year's tax return. And we
I'm
were like,
but it's income.
But what if, like, let's say hypothetically she picked up or I picked up a second job? You couldn't use it because it wasn't on our last. They're like, well, we could have.
No, they said no.
Oh, they said no. That's right. I'm like, what?
So there's a lot of red tape and there's a lot of like loopholes and stuff.
If I have to send my bank statement or anything one more time.
Our mortgage broker was, I think it's a broker, I don't remember. He was a genius. I don't know how he did it, but somehow even when I quit my job, he still managed to get us this house. I don't know how he did it, but Cody, you're the man, okay? Luca, you are also the man. Just saying, you are everything. So there are certain things you just need to know when you're in this process. Number 1, don't quit your job. Number 2, don't take out a line of credit. Number 3, be ready for the hurry up and wait game.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of stress. There's so much stress because you don't know if you're going to close when they say you're going to close. And then they're doing all this calculating and they don't tell you that they got it all worked out. And you're like, hey, is it all worked out? They're like, yeah, it should be. We should be ready to close. We're still working on, and then they list a couple things that they're still working on. So you think nothing is set in stone. You don't even know if you're getting this house. Maybe you already like sold the house that you're living in. Maybe your lease is up. Mm-hmm. You're just like, am I going to be homeless? Like, is this
we found out the day before what our amount is that we had to put down.
Yeah, the down payment we found out the morning of.
Oh, yeah,
we got the official total the morning of closing is what we needed to bring. And I was like, but you wanted it wired. They're like, yeah. And I'm like, some wires take 24 hours. He works at a bank, he knows. And they're like, I don't understand. Like, you should be able to wire the same day. And I'm like, not every bank.
Or they're like, oh, well, yeah, that's been basically what it was supposed to be. We asked, and they were like, it might be.
Well, they gave me the paperwork, and I'm like, listen, one of these numbers is 4,000, and the other number is negative 10,000, and then this other number is 18,000. Which one is it?
They're like, oh, we'll figure it out.
That's a big difference. And they're like, well, it's one of them.
It's
the one that's on line, and then they like would say the name of the line instead of the number, and then there's like 7 lines named that, and it's all of those numbers. And I'm just like, I'm just all confused.
And then they're like, we'll look into it.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the worst part of the house buying process, was me messing everything up and saying sorry to him a million times because I thought I cost us this house, but I didn't.
Oh, and then, so at my job, they don't let you get overtime.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, if you're a couple minutes late or you don't, you want to try to stay under the, 40 hours a week just so you don't get overtime. And so, like, my checks are like 79, 78 and a half or whatever, things like that.
Hours per 2 weeks.
Yeah. And then they're like, well, you're not full time.
And
what?
He's like, I am full time.
And in the state of Florida, it says if you work 32 hours or more, you are considered full time. That's why you get insurance and things. But I'm like, what?
But they said because you don't do exactly 40 or more.
Yeah, they said that it was like fluctuating income or something.
Yeah, they have to do it as fluctuating income instead of fixed income. And there was so much red tape, so much like red flags. Honestly.
And it was just like, oh my goodness, like every little thing.
The stress, every little thing. It was the most stressful time of my life.
I will give you guys this tip. If you are going to send them your bank statements, print out, like save it where it's like, let's say August 1st to August 31st. And then August 28th through September 30th. Like, make sure there's some overlap because I sent it to them. They're like, oh, there's gaps. No, there wasn't. So I resent them the same thing, and they're like, okay, good, it's great.
So yeah, that was the home buying process for us, and now we're just really, really happy in this house. We're still in the moving process. We have about a total of 2 months to move out of our old house, which is nice. There's no overlap in rent though because we closed in October, so our first payment isn't due until December. So
and that's when our lease is up.
That's when our lease is up. So it's really, really perfect. And our realtor designed that for us. Mm-hmm. She was wonderful. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we are just trying to get everything moved out of the old house before Thanksgiving week because after that we have no time. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm loving how my music studio is turning out. Like, this is our vlog corner, but then I have like my keyboard right here, and that whole desk over there is going to be for where I edit music and record music, and it has all of his stuff for the side job, which is not only a band that we started, but a podcast too.
Coming soon. To a podcasting site near you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I have my drum sets, two of them in the same room. Yeah. I have 2 drum sets in the same room because I actually have a space for this, and it's not in my bedroom anymore. My work office is still in the bedroom, but I like it there. Mm-hmm. But you have your own office, and it's right next to my music room, and you just can shut the door and hang out with Barry.
I can work like my actual job, and then I can do my art also in there.
He has lots of room in there for his art. It's amazing. I cannot wait to give you guys a house tour, but we are going to wait until it is done because right now the house is a disaster. So
every day I'm bringing home like
boxes
of stuff from the last house. Like today, I think I brought like 14 boxes or something like that. Yeah, so
we're dealing with it. It's mostly clothes. Mm-hmm. We're gonna handle that right now after we're done filming.
Yeah.
What?
No, I was kidding.
Fine, I'll make dinner first.
I love food.
Me too.
But no, side note. We're having breakfast for dinner.
We are. I suggested it yesterday, and he's like, yeah. And I was like, me too.
That's how these vlogs go. We're real. Like,
yeah, we're super real. So hopefully this helped you. If you guys have any questions about the home buying process, I'm happy to answer. He's happy to answer. We'll do another vlog on it if you have specific questions. Like if you want to do a Q&A, send us your questions, and we can do a whole Q&A. And we will be as honest and real with you as possible. Like I told you, I quit my job in the middle of trying to get a house. Like, that's as real as it gets. So, and he told you about the boobs. So yeah. Thanks for joining us for this vlog. Hopefully that was fun and informative, and now you know why we're in a new space. Yay!
We didn't actually just clean the space.
Yeah.
That's a funny
I like this backdrop. It's let us know if you like the backdrop. I think we need some more lights, like on either side.
Do you think we need art or something? What do you guys think? Let us know what ideas. Give us some ideas.
Yeah, so let us know what you want. We love how this turned out, so I think we're pretty good here. But like, we're not sure if we want more lights on either side or if we want to do like art or something. But I feel like our head would block the art, so maybe just one more thing of lights. Anyway, we'll plan that after the video. Thanks for joining us.
It's Jen and Sean.
Oh, that's cute.
But no, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. If you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're on that road to 1,000 subscribers. Slowly getting there, but so help us out. Hit that subscribe button. Doesn't cost you a thing, and you get to hang out with our beautiful faces every once in a while. But no, so thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you enjoyed this video, or if you've bought a house and you know the stress, hit that thumbs up. If you're thinking about buying a house, hit that thumbs up. Ask us some questions. We got you. But thanks for hanging out with us. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jen.
And I'm gonna go get food.